Welcome to the Daisy Blue Fashion Variety Show. I am Nancy Blizzard, your host, and my guests today are Anne Redureau and Susan Jensen. Welcome, Anne. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you.
So glad you're on my show.
Thank you.
We are going to start with Anne today. I would like to know your title and your involvement with the Paper Fashion Show.
I'm the event chair for this year's 13th Annual Paper Fashion Show, and I'm the current president of ADCD, the Art Directors Club of Denver.
And what year is the fashion show in?
This is going to be the 13th year.
Wonderful. 13 years.
Yes.
And you said it's the largest fashion show?
Paper fashion show in the nation, yes, it is.
Wow, that's so impressive. It must be wonderful to work with such talented designers.
It is, and it's amazing that in a short time frame that they have, because they pretty much have less than 3 months, that they can create designs that are just so intricate and wonderful. It's just really mind-blowing. I was blown away the first time I actually attended my first paper fashion show.
Oh, that's impressive, yes. And do they are allowed one garment at a time, or can they make more than one?
Each design team can actually register different times, but only one design per design team. But some designers, they have different students. For example, a teacher can actually register several design student teams.
That's wonderful. That is. And can you explain the process to us?
Yeah, so we do a call for entries, which is actually happening at the moment, and design teams then are contacted to come and pick up their swatch books, their paper swatch books, and it's on a first come, first serve basis. So they have to come early and take a look at what paper options they have, and based on what fits their designs the best, the texture, the colors, and then they place an order, and they are helped throughout that process also with Veritiv, who's also organizing the paper mills, and then they get their sheets of paper in the mail and they start constructing their designs. So altogether it's less than 3 months, and it's
oh my
just
goodness,
pretty impressive that they can get it done so fast.
And I understand the paper's donated?
Yes, it is. Some of the finest paper mills, such as Mohawk Paper, Neenah Paper, and International Paper, are coordinated. The donations are coordinated through Veritiv, formerly Expedex, through Debbie.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And I understand the Paper Fashion Show benefits an organization here in Denver, downtown Aurora Visual Arts Center.
Yes, DAVA. And
DAVA.
We're lucky to have
Great,
Susan with us.
Let's introduce Susan. Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for being a part of my show.
Thank you for having me.
Please explain to us your organization and how it benefits our community.
So, Downtown Aurora Visual Arts, or DAVA, is a youth arts organization that has been in existence for 23 years and provides after-school programming in the arts for over 1,000 kids a year on site. And so what we have is a progression of after-school programs, an open studio, which is a drop-in program for kids, primarily elementary school kids with an older junior staff of high school kids. And then we have what we call our job training in the arts program. And it's divided between traditional arts media, sculpture, drawing, and we've introduced robotics over the last few years. And then there's a computer art lab, so there are 2 sections of our job training program in art and technology. So computer art lab and studio arts. And those are middle school with some high school kids. So they're 2 separate sections, and all groups do the Paper Fashion Show every year, and they're all very excited about it. We've been involved with the Art Directors Club now for 13 years, and it is a project cycle for kids every year that they just that just lights up their world. I mean, really, kids from 7 to all the way to 17 create sketches, and we vote as staff and as fellow students, because that's part of how we operate. We really feel that we have a collegial atmosphere, so kids are introducing their ideas. We're all putting every project cycle together, and Paper Fashion is one of the highlights for kids every year.
And your organization really ties in very well with art and fashion. They kind of are the same.
Yes.
Correct?
Well, I mean, I think that what's different about DAVA is that we are actually asking kids to introduce whatever issues are interesting to them. And so this year, our overarching theme that kids helped us weave together is called Innovation and Imagination. And so they will break out different project cycles during the year, and all of our students on site will drive different project cycles. So we start every year with Paper Fashion, and that's something everybody's excited about. Last year they did project cycles on peace and also on transportation. So it can really range all over the spectrum in terms of what kids are interested in, but they're all interested in fashion. I mean, I think everybody's interested in fashion ultimately.
Yes,
so.
right? Everyone's
Yes.
interested in fashion,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I can imagine your attendees just be amazed when they come to your show and see these creations that are so beautiful.
And the variety of designs, I think, you know, having designers from obviously younger ages
Yes.
to more experienced designers that have been in the creative field for years. I think that range is also very interesting. And the papers themselves are also helping
Yeah.
with that diversity, because
Yeah.
last year we even had some papers that looked like skin, like reptile skin, and didn't even look like paper. It almost felt like fabric.
Yeah.
So the paper mills have gone above and beyond to make sure that different designs could be made. Just it's not rigid paper when you think paper. Some papers are obviously meant to be used that way, but there are also some papers are completely different. So that's really when the design teams come to pick up their paper swatch books, and even in the book itself, there are different ways and different textures. That helps them.
How big is the fashion team, and how large is it?
One fashion team.
Yeah, one fashion team.
It depends. Some people can be 3 to 5 designers on the team, and sometimes it's only a team of 1. It depends on. It depends. Sometimes on the availability of the designers to get together. For some design teams, it's easier to do that as a group, but for some designers, it's easier to be just one.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. That's awesome. And do they have an opportunity to use white paper to kind of maybe practice what they're trying to do before they turn to more colored paper, or so they get an opportunity to kind of try out their design? Is that correct?
Yes, especially for the newer teams that have never gone through the process before, they are given some blank paper. I mean, not the high-grade paper to start with. And some other people, even at DAVA, I think they practice on newspapers. That way they can make mistakes and not spoil the real paper that they'll need for their designs.
That's great. That's a great idea.
I think that for the kids, what has been really inspiring is also to be a part of the larger design field here in Denver, because that's really what art directors is. It's so many different creative people. And the first time that you go to one of these shows, and of course, kids get the booklets afterwards, so you're amazed at how elaborate and how these papers actually simulate feathers and lace and all kinds of different, I mean, it's impossible to describe how elaborate some of these designs are. And so what you have is this sort of intersection between adult work and kid work, because the kids are inspired. Every year they look at the runway show before we start, so we get tape of the year before, and they look at these professional designers and they inspire us. So kids who have been at DAVA for 2 or 3 years have actually gone through this process, and they understand that anything is possible. And so they raise the bar every year, I think, too.
What a wonderful lesson for young kids.
Yes,
to understand that, oh my gosh, anything's possible. Look what this person created out of paper.
Right.
What can I, that's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
You have a very fulfilling job, very fulfilling.
Well, I mean, I think that the main thing that being around kids on a regular basis does is it's very inspiring, because when you work side by side with kids on a variety of projects, they're teaching you as much as you are directing and guiding them. So we have a very different relationship. All of my teaching staff at DAVA are professional working artists, but their heart is in this work of bringing kids along to see the ultimate manifest of their own ideas on a variety of topics, on a variety of subjects. And also to be responsive to what kids want to do. So we launched filmmaking at DAVA at one point because kids desperately wanted to do film. And we've done different kinds of sculpture projects and different kinds of industrial design projects. I mean, the sky is really the limit, and it's based on what kids want to do. So to bring it back to paper fashion, they always want to do something around fashion every year.
Great fashion. That's wonderful. It just sounds like a great show. I mean, you get to go to a fashion show and enjoy beautiful works, and also you're benefiting an organization here in Denver.
And that's one of the highlights, I think, that when in the design community, in the creative community, to see that for a fundraiser, for a cause, and for DAVA, some teams, some of the most talented people, I'm really excited about who's on our team this year, are ready to donate their services so that we can focus on giving the proceeds to DAVA and make the best event as we can. To see that people from different disciplines can just make this whole event happen. It's not just our team, it's just there are so many different components to what makes the paper fashion show, and it's really inspiring. And it's also great to see that when they understand that there's also a different side of the paper fashion show. It's a paper fashion show, but it's also a cause. It also serves a cause, and we want to make sure to highlight this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Art Directors Club has been incredibly philanthropic. I mean, they started paper fashion with a nonprofit as part of the overall vision, and they have reached out to us, and every year they give us a donation. But I think more importantly, they model an example for the creative community, which is that we're not just about being creative, and we're not just about being art directors, and we're not just about being designers. We really want to bring a younger population of inner city kids into this dialogue about what we do.
Yes.
It's wonderful, really.
It truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is. It just makes me more excited to go to this show on April 6th.
Yes.
Where is the show?
It will be at the Denver Center for Performing Arts, DCPA. So it will
Very
be back
nice.
there. Yes. We're very excited.
Very nice, Anne. That's a great venue.
It is. And for the
great
setup and the way we see in the crowd also that we will have, it has a high capacity, so we'll be able to have.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I guess that we wanted.
It's really kind of glamorous, actually, if you want to know the truth. It's a big fashion show, and everybody's invited. If you can get a ticket, I don't know how many tickets are available every year, but it seems to me you usually sell out, don't you?
Yes, we do. This year, the capacity will be slightly higher because of the room and the venue, but tickets will be on sale soon after the call for entries has been done, and it's the whole process.
How exciting. Well, I can't wait to go. It sounds like a wonderful show. It just really does.
Yeah. And there really are paper fashions. And again, our groups do 4. They vote on 4, so we'll have 4 designs in there by young people. But the professional designers, I mean, the sky is really the limit in terms of where they go and how they take paper. And so it is, I mean, there are always those moments when any model walks down the stage, out on the stage where people, you hear that, you know, that, oh my gosh, I mean, you can't believe that it's made out of paper.
And we're also very excited because it's going to be at the DCPA, and we'll have some other disciplines such as dancing. We'll have the ballet, Colorado Ballet is going to be performing, and we also are adding, without revealing everything, adding some new features, and we'll have even a wedding dress this year in the show, not competing with the other designers, because it's actually a paper mill that wants to do a wedding dress this year. And we'll have other exciting designs that will be probably more themed towards a certain cause, but yes, I'm very excited. And then we're introducing typography, expressive typography. So for some people who want to print on some of their papers, I mean, not the whole garment, but we're partnering up with Ink Lounge to do some screen printing, and this is on a first come, first serve basis again, but they will have this option. And also 3D printing for accessories, since the design has to be made 95% out of paper, 5% can be done for accessories. So we're trying to add some fresher elements to it, and we'll also have a paper sculpture so that the audience can interact with the paper closer, because sometimes they don't have the chance to see the models up close, even though we'll make sure that this year there's a time that for some designers and for the audience and the models to kind of interact. And we have usually this opportunity at the after party.
Oh, that's wonderful. So the models will come out into the audience and interact with the guests, is that correct?
Yes, and they're still, as far as the logistics, we're still going to.
So where is the after party this year?
We're still finishing up those details.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Oh gosh, the guests would love that if they get a chance to like really see the model up close in the dress. What a wonderful opportunity.
Yes, and for designers, it's a great way to also talk about their process and to perhaps inspire other creatives to do the same thing the following year. And it's just, I think, really a great opportunity for everyone.
Yes, it is. What a wonderful opportunity for a model too.
Exactly.
That's awesome to be in that type of show. It just sounds like a wonderful show. I can't wait
Well, and
to
it's
go.
also very, very, very professionally produced. I mean, it's not at all, you know, last minute. It is, you know, the way Anne and the Art Directors Club put it together. There's professional photography. There are always professional photographers present. The whole thing rolls out in a way that is amazing. I mean, I don't know how much time you've put into the upfront part of it, but by the time we get to that day, everybody looks marvelous, and it looks like it's very fluid and always a whole lot of fun.
And we thank you, and we have a great team with people coming from different backgrounds and you know, bringing their own ideas and resources and referring other people to other people, and it's been a pleasure to speak with our team, because you know, if I say, oh, I'd like to have a runway photographer, or somebody's going to say, oh, have you heard of this person? And it's kind of a nice network, and I think it's a great opportunity. So far, everyone that I've asked to be on board, you know, for donated services or just be part of the show has been thrilled and honored, whether it is a judge on our panel of judges or a photographer or anyone really, and the DCP is really excited to have us back there too.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of everybody collaborating together to make a successful production. I love that idea when the community comes together. It's just wonderful to hear.
And I think that, you know, how do I say this? I think that Denver is an amazing city.
It is.
But that this is one of those little jewels that happens every year, and when people hear about it, they say, oh, I'll have to do it again next year, or if they attend, they're really kind of taken away by the fantasy aspect of everything that's produced as well, don't you?
I agree. And I think that one of the factors that also that we're taking in consideration is to extend the life of paper fashion show and to have some of the designs showcased at different locations around the city, including the airport, for travelers to see what's being done here in Denver, but mainly strategically some touristic spots where designers can get noticed. And this is one of the elements that we're bringing this year as well, is to really communicate with the teams, let them know, and also check with them, see if they're struggling or if they need anything from us, but also to let them know that we're planning on doing things beyond April 6th, and that if they work hard and produce something
it goes
beautiful,
beyond April
yes.
6th. And so you're very supportive, and I like your philosophy in being thoughtful and thinking of the designers and supporting them that well.
Well, that and the very fact that the creative industries are so strong in Denver, I mean across the board, and when you think of creative industries, it's not just designers, it's also marketing people and branding people, and so I think traditionally people have looked at Chicago and New York, and yet Denver is a heartbeat out here in the middle of the West, and really center to a lot of people who are now moving here because we have strong creative industries, and because in the 21st century, and this is what we say to kids, all of those skills that you develop through the arts, problem solving, attention to detail, all of those things are also skills that you can take into other fields as well. And so for me personally, the creative industries, whether you're talking about design and fashion, or you're talking about theater and you're talking about fine art, that we all are part of what makes the Denver community a more interesting and diverse place. And so paper fashion is, I do think it was kind of a well-hidden little secret that everybody who's in the know knew about, and now it's really acquired a reputation.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah, and Denver is a growing community of creative people.
Right.
It really is growing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see, too.
Yeah, it is wonderful to
see it just growing and it just changing all the time. That's wonderful. I'm so glad you guys were on my show. Is there anything else you want to share?
I don't know. I'm just grateful to the Art Directors Club for continuing to come back to us year after year. Because when you work with inner city kids, when you work with urban youth, you realize that they don't always have the same opportunities as people in the more affluent suburbs do, for example. And so the fact that, again, that you reach out every year and you say, your kids are going to be involved and they feel special, and we feel incredibly supported by the Art Directors Club in every way. So thank you.
Well, thank you. You're so welcome.
It's true.
It's my honor, actually. This is one of the most exciting events of the year. It is a big enterprise and a lot of work, and it's all worth it when you can impact the community, and especially the youth, and just make a difference. It's this is really what I think motivates me to, even in my leadership with the Art Directors Club. So I'm grateful. I'm actually grateful that we have the Paper Fashion Show to help you in, just
making a difference in someone else's life that you might never meet. Probably about the greatest gift of all is extending a gift to someone that might not be able to repay you back. That's the best gift.
That's true.
Well, and I also think, and I'll use one of the kids whose sketches we have here today, Kenai, as an example. He's so excited. He did numerous sketches, and he's actually leapt right into the fabricating. We've provided him with paper up on his own, and he's made 2 paper fashions, and he said that if they don't get used, that he'll take them home to his sister. So, again, I think that magic happens around this show every year, and it's enticing to 7-year-olds, it's enticing to 14-year-olds, and they really stretch the boundaries of their imagination in order to come up with really some designs this year that are very, very different. than anything I've seen in the past, believe me. So,
It's good.
Sketches done by an 11-year-old in our programs named Kenai. And Kenai has been a participant at DAVA for like the last few years. We started age 7 in the open studio. And so what we see here are 2 different sketches. Number 1 is a crumpled paper, he explained to me, and then there's some kind of a design element going on the other leg. And then number 2 is, looks like a Tinkerbell. Actually, he's done a prototype of this already with an umbrella and an ice cream cone hat, I believe that is. So there are going to be elements from both of his sketches combined into his ultimate paper fashion, and he's very, very excited about this. This is Ayana, who I believe is now 16, and she has done a paper hipster. She's described a paper beard and paper hair that goes along in this hipster. He's got sleeves in different sections. He's got torn jeans and ripped jeans, apparently, and a coffee cup he's holding. All of this is going to be created out of paper. This was another piece done by a high school student last year, Chloe, and Chloe has created a very sort of puffy skirt and branch materials and a feather-like shoulder piece. All of these that I've just talked about have been created either by younger kids, and I might mention that there were probably 30 sketches out, and we all voted, the staff voted and kids voted in order to get selected as the ultimate designs for paper fashion out of our open studio. Jellyfish created by Maria Nieto, and it's a very complicated sketch that is a jellyfish, and so the jellyfish will in some way be transparent, or maybe it'll have eye holes. I'm not sure. Part of this comes out in the production phase. But this was the group's selection, and you can see the tentacles and the sort of cape-like large creation that covers the top part of the model's body. So we won't see too much of the model. We'll see a lot of the jellyfish here. This is Boris's sketch, and it's really kind of a fantastic sketch because he wanted it to be very innovative, and Boris is just an innovative person. Actually, the head you can see here does look like Boris Kochihil, and he he is a great young artist as well. Let me just mention that you don't have to have an art background or any art-related ambitions to be at DAVA. And so a lot of kids see themselves in careers in technology and business, whatever the case may be. Boris is a self-described technology nerd, but in paper fashion, he just kind of let his imagination go wild. And what he's created here is a wardrobe, which will have paper fashions inside of it. It looks like he's got pajamas and slippers on. I assume everything in this picture will be created out of paper, and a little lamp, and who knows if it's Boris, the lamp may actually turn off and on. It's hard to say. This is another wonderful young artist. I think it gives you an idea of what goes into teaching kids a variety of different subjects throughout the school year, because we're open Monday through Friday year-round. And also what sort of propelled us to get a national award for excellence in youth arts programming, and for being a program that helps create ramps to kids' careers and to higher education and to their careers. So we actually went to the White House in 2014 and got a national award from Mrs. Obama. Boris actually went with me to the White House and got an award. This was Diana, who's one of our high school students in the open studio. I'll finish up with her because you can really see in number 7 that she did a variety of really well executed and detailed designs, that any one of which would have been absolutely wonderful. So, and again, in this you can see that she's described the makeup that she wants to go along, the braiding, which either has a fishtail or a feather in it. Her inspiration in this case were ocean waves, and really she's also somebody who helps with the younger kids in the open studio. So this is another paper fashion. And it's very hard because everybody on staff votes, all the kids vote, and so I don't necessarily see my favorite in the final stages of execution, but everybody has a great time.
At this time, we'll look at some pictures from last year's show that Anne will be presenting to us.
So now we're going to take a look at last year's Runway Winners. First place winner was the Huntress. And look at the details. I really like the second place winner as well. Look at the feathers.
What a beautiful dress.
And the designs can be so different and so elaborate. Look at this for the third place winner. This is the Art Director Spirit Winner Award. This is DAVA's Choice winner. She actually created the design and modeled it herself. This one is the Star Student winner.
Has a train.
And all of these models have to walk down with all of these things and keep them intact, and it's quite extraordinary, really.
This one was so spectacular. I remember seeing it and thinking, frozen. To even think about how long it took to assemble the shapes onto the dress. It was very intricate. Feels like almost a wedding dress. The butterfly. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So it's,
Extraordinary.
again, it's not just paper, it's also engineering that goes into getting all of these different parts assembled and fitted to a model, and then have the model walk down the runway, and all of it. It's amazing.
And we're very thankful to partner up with NXT Model once again this year.
So you can see that some of these bustiers are really, as I say, engineered, and then they have to be laced into these fashions at the end, and so they're different component parts, and then they all have to hang together and walk down the runway, and be in these fashions, these fragile, essentially paper fashions all night long.
That's a very intricate bustier as well.
That is something.
And the accessories are also kind of amazing, I think, a lot of times.
Look at this one, like a whole net.
And so is that just a great big, a giant sort of necklace piece on top as well?
Thank you for watching the Daisy Blue Fashion Variety Show with my guests Anne Redureau and Susan Jensen. It's been such a pleasure having you on my show. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.